Hello. Look, I did tidy up. Well, the other day I noticed this, and I know where that's from, but I've just noticed this, you know, in the sweepings up from under the car. I think this here, well, I know where it is. This is the cap off the bottom of the strut, on the bottom of the track control arm. But I think this might be like a retaining clip. I read that these early track control arms aren't rebuildable. So I'm going to have a look underneath to see what I can see. Oh, there's a spring there, yeah, okay. Let's take all these things off. Let me just try tapping down on this, see if it all comes out. I must admit it feels nice and greasy. It doesn't feel tight. Well, it does now that I've just turned it. There's probably a sweet spot. Yeah, that's the sweet spot there. It's worn into that point there. Just going to try giving it a tap on the top. You can't see this, but okay, I've got some bits out then. There is a groove. Okay, right. Let's get these up on the bench then and have a look at them. There's what's come out, and that's where it came out from. It does look in good condition, to be honest. It's like a split bearing, which if you think about it, has to be split, doesn't it, to go in. It's not going to go around that and in there. So there's a split bearing, a circlip, and a capping piece, and then some dust boots. Okay, let's clean everything up. I won't show you that deteriorated rubber bush. I'm not showing you that, okay? I'm not showing that. There's the thing. I'm not showing that. I'm not showing it. Let's, I think the best thing to do is just clean everything off. Make sure that these are okay. Shove them back in. Make sure the circlip's in place. And, yeah, get it back, you know, how it should be. I'll show you the bits from inside. It's quite interesting. If you look in there, you can see there's a peg on that side, like a stop. Here are the bits. You see these pieces, they are the ball seat, and there's a hole, and can you see that it's eccentric? Now, can you see on this side, there's just a very faint witness mark there. That's from that peg. But anyway, that peg thing goes here. When I get it back in place, I can try and put the circlip back in a little bit. Obviously this would be a lot easier to do if I was doing it up on the bench, if I took it off and put it on the bench. But hey, you know, where's the fun in that? You have to squeeze the spring together and that pushes the things apart. That's the right place. Now this is where this thing goes shooting across the floor. Get it in one of them, eh? Get it in one. Okay, that's in. Let's get it pushed in now. There we are. Okay. Can you see that it's kind of how it's shaped? Sorry if I'm putting the mirror in your way, but I'm pretty sure that is in. That's that's in the sweet spot there. That's how it was probably, like that. To be honest, it's the first part of the car that I've found that's in really good condition. It must have been when I was hitting on this with that big hammer, thinking I was trying to break it free, it jarred it out. Okay. I just took this capping piece into the thing, and I got a wheel bearing that got the bore of that, you know, smaller than that, and I've hit it into it to kind of put a bit more crown on it. Hopefully it should go in there. I think that's in. We need to kind of bruise this now. Actually, maybe I should hammer it in a bit to expand it, you know. Yeah, I think it might be loose. If the grease nipple won't go in, I'll have to put a tap in it. Let's just try a straight one to establish the principle. You wouldn't believe the mess down there. It's all over the phone. Oh God. Yeah, it's coming out now, just as it's emptied itself. Okay, right, let's try and take this off. Let me get the mirror and I'll show you what's going on. The bleed port was open on the... It was pumping out the bleed port. Right, I'm going to hold this. Can you see yourself? You see all the grease? Hopefully you can see that. Okay, I'm going to wipe that off now. But, can you see that? There is grease on the top. Come out the top. So that's good. Okay, just a little coincidental repair there. I'm glad I saw that circlip in the sweepings. There was a ton of sweepings, you know, all the bits from doing all the body repairs, you know, all the grindings and filings and metal offcuts. And luckily I saw that circlip. There is grease come up through it, look. A bit limited where I can reach, you know, see. And that's really nice actually. It's really good, that joint. No play in it at all, so that's good, isn't it? Okay, righto. So that's one part that is serviceable. A little job there I didn't even know needed doing until I saw that circlip. Okay. Righto then, thanks a lot, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hello. I'm going to try and make a tool. And to do it, I've dug out this old, rather knackered spanner, which I've obviously saved from somewhere. And I've just given that a quick wire brush, and I'm going to lay some weld down on here. And then I'm going to grind and file the weld into a certain shape, and then I will try it and see if it works. Here's my spanner. Now what I've done, I've made two like blade things that go into screwdriver slots on this insert. So those are in there. I've cut a piece of tubing, which funnily enough was cut from a 100E. It hasn't been trimmed very well, so it doesn't sit very well. But I've put this on to just try and stop this jumping out the slots. Give it the best chance it's got of undoing it in one go. So that's like that. So what I'm going to do is, it's already jumped out, look, see, that's jumping out, that's no good. That's going to be like that. This vice ain't holding it well enough either. Oh, it's going. It went. Okay. Right. That's good. It went anyway. And he's doing better than that. That's where I've modified the tool. Can you see the two things? That's weld, and then I cut it all off with a grinder, just leaving those two blades like that, look. And it appears to have worked. There's a gland, like a sealing gland, and an O-ring there, look. So let's dig that O-ring out. What I'm thinking is, these inserts are better than the ones in the other struts, so I might try and swap these inserts over. This strut is scrap because it's got a broken stub axle there, look. They changed the size of the stub axles on the 100Es. This is a bigger stub axle than the one on my car. That end is the same though. The wheel bearing must have seized up and then it broke it off. So what I thought was I'd try and retrieve this and see if I can use it in the other car. But making that tool is the first step. So yeah. So, good little job there, worked well. Worked alright, didn't it? Okay, righto. Back in a little bit. Well, the oil looks a bit dirty, doesn't it? But that shock absorber on that strut didn't feel too bad, to be honest. Well, I'll tell you what, the best place to keep it is probably in the strut, isn't it? It'll all need cleaning up, obviously. I'll just loosely put it back together, and then that will at least keep this one intact. And then it can all be cleaned. And if I can get the other strut apart, okay, I can use that in there. I remember messing about with these years ago. I had what they used to call classic Capri struts on my 100E. I'm doing the old thing where you turn it backwards trying to pick up the thread. I think that's got it. I'm not going to force it. Okay, good. I'll leave it at that then. At least the spanner worked. A little bit crude, but you know, hey, it did the job. Normally these are all chewed up, you know, from chiseling them. Okay, let's just put that out of the way then, and that's just another little starter of a job. And it's always interesting to make your own tools, isn't it? Okay, righto. Catch you on the next one then. Cheers then, bye. So there's my strut. That'll get cleaned up, and a quick wire brush and a quick coat of paint, and it'll get the guts out the other strut put into it. I'll probably get some fresh oil and put that in, and I'll reassemble it up, and with the new bearings on the top and the new strut top. Well, actually the top bearings off the donor struts, and I'll get those put back on the car. Get that put back on the car, because I just put all that back together today, and I've rebuilt all this here. That's all rebuilt, so I'll probably just paint up behind there, paint that area there, and the strut can go back on, you know, to save having the car completely blown apart, Napoleon blown apart. Okay, righto. So there's the 100E as it stands. I've had a bit of a day off today. I've had a good tidy up and just done a little bit of tinkering, little jobs. No big cutting, welding, grinding jobs. Well, other than making that tool. Okay. Righto, thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. A little bit of success there. Again, not a lot of thought or effort, and you know, it paid dividends. Simpler the better. As one of my subscribers says, keep it real, keep it cheap. Okay, that's my motto, my new byline. Okay, cheers then, thanks very much. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've been doing only odd little jobs on the 100E, because my primary focus at the moment is to get my two-door sedan ready to race at Pendine at next weekend. It's Monday now, and I'll be driving down there on Friday, so I've got up till Thursday to get this car ready. But one of the last things I did was to take that strut, strip it down and paint it. That's the strut for this side. I didn't rebuild, but I cleaned and reassembled that joint there, and I have painted under here because I wanted to get the front suspension back on the car, purely because I didn't intend to tear this car down to the bare shell, but you almost can't help yourself. So I want to get the front suspension back on, but it's silly to put the front suspension back on without, you know, at least cleaning it up beforehand. Now, the viewership of the channel, if that's the right term, has taken a step up with the 100E. And when the adverts and things come on, I get paid something for those adverts being on. And the 100E has generated improved income for the channel to allow me to do these things. You know, when I need to get gas for the welder and stuff like that, and the wire. So on the strength of that, I've just ordered a suspension bush kit for the front suspension. So I'm going to take all that off and clean and paint it all, and you know, reassemble it all up with new bushes. That's the whole thing. You watch the videos, YouTube give me some money, I take the money and I plough it back into parts and things. Because, to be honest, it is very expensive, these parts. I remember buying a kit to do that job for about £7 or £8 or something like that. I mean, it was 35 years ago, but, you know, they were like, you just walk into any motor parts place and just get them. I've just had to pay about £72 for a set of bushes. It's a lot, isn't it? But I mean, I could drive it just as they are. But while it's partially dismantled, I might as well change the bushes. Also, it's quite hard to assemble the strut onto there, but it's easier to sort of put the strut in and then put the suspension up to it, if you see what I mean, and then, you know, put the bolts in and things. So I'm going to do it like that. Well, that's my little preamble. So I am working on the 100E, but just little bits at the moment, and I'll start working on it properly. By when I say working on it, what I mean is cutting out and replacing rusty metal when the sedan is all ready to race. I've been and gone to Pendine and had a nice weekend there, and I come back. So the 100E will continue after that. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Just a little update. I'm working on the sedan, I'm working on the 100E, but only little bits. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye. Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. This is the 100E looking up at the front from underneath. I'm working on the front suspension. This side is out, and I want to take this anti-roll bar off, the track control arm off, and the same on the other side, and take that strut out. It says in the book to undo these, to take the roll bar off, but I want to change these bushes, and I've bought a new set of bushes. So I'm going to leave those intact, and although I didn't expect it to come out easily, I've just taken this bolt out from the front there, and that came out okay. Despite it being, you know, the bolt looking a bit rusty, it came out nicely. So I'm going to do this bolt, the same sort of thing there, one on the other side, and that one there, the same bolt on that side. So let's see if that one comes out okay. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. I can see that now. With these released, those arms will flex down far enough to release the strut. This 9/16 nut is a bit undersized. I'm going to try this Whitworth nut. The nut was, you know, corroded away there, so I had to go undersized with a spanner, and then once I got it going, the bottom half was big enough to get the proper size socket on. I couldn't undo the that's undersized as well. It might be, yeah, actually it's not. Yes, it's 16mm. It's 5/8 rather than 11/16. should have undone this while the steering was still attached. But you know, we're nothing if not adaptable. Okay, where was that? Now I've got a head nut that goes on there, a domed head nut that will go on there. Problem is, because of the way the thread is, I can't screw it on. Let me see if I can hit it with a copper hammer. Now I went a bit mad on the other side and hit it a bit too hard, but I think this side might be a bit better. Well, I say that because there's less resisting that going downwards, you see. Here we are. Okay, good. Okay, good. Right. That feels alright. Without those attached there, it's a lot more easy to move. Much more easy to move. Now, note to self, I've got to get the split pin out of there. You can't see me up the top here, I'm levering the top down, that's it. There's the strut. Okay, good. That there is seized solid. So I'm going to clean all this up. That there is all rusty, look. I'm going to clean this all up and see if I can use it. Okay, well that's, oh, and I want to take this apart further as well. So I will continue to work on that. Don't know whether you saw any of that, but got itself a bit jammed up. I bought a new set of bushes. They've gone up a bit since I bought them last in the 1980s. Okay, that's out. This can all be cleaned up. These joints feel okay, so they can go back on. I can clean a little bit here. I'll still go do some weld repairs. But what I wanted some things that I could do that were quiet, so that I've got stuff. So when, in other words, I can do welding and grinding and everything, you know, in sort of the middle of the day when there's people at work and things. But in the evening, if I want to do something, I want to just do some quiet assembly work. So yeah, let's get this. So I'll get this apart then. There's big nuts here that need to be undone. See if these split pins will come out. Hope they will. Might do, might not. Probably not. So I need to dismantle these, and that bush is out, look. It's amazing really that they were still you know, serviceable. you wouldn't want to put them in. You wouldn't want to put them back in having taken them out, but as they were still working as a bush. These feel okay. Not a lot of free play in them. They're good, serviceable units. Oh, okay, right out. I'll catch you later. Hello. I've got the strut assembly here, and I have the clamps in place. I've undone the nut, and you have to make sure that you can feel free movement before you take the nut off, because I mean movement that way, not that way. Because if you don't have the clamps in place, when you take the nut off, you can get this in the face. If you look at those bearings, they're completely and utterly seized solid. There's no hint of any movement at all. This is more like what it's supposed to look like. This one needs cleaning out. This one will be fine once it's cleaned. This is the one that was on the other side, and you can see, even though I've given it a bit of a scrape out, I've chiselled away at it actually with a little chisel. It'd sort of get you out of the desert, but it wouldn't be any good for a road going car with, you know, decent feel to the steering. That's why it was important to me to go and fetch those ones there, which are much better. This didn't want to just pop apart, so I thought I'd just put it in the vise like that and give it a couple of taps with a hammer, and it ought to come apart then. Can you see how it's kind of well crusted in here? Let me put my gloves on and I'll give it a bit of a tappy tap tap. Spiders. Luckily I've got a better one of these. Can you see the springs all embedded in there as well? There we are. Okay. This needs all cleaning out. Well, not the first. This is one of the first McPherson strut designs from Ford. I'll clean this up and see if it's any good. I've got my doubts about the other one, so I might need to use this. But what I will do, if I do use it, I'll use the internals from one of the other struts, the ones I got from Sheffield. So that's there. I can start cleaning that up and look at refurbing it a bit. See this bad wear on here, look. Well, bad, a bit of pitting and corrosion here. It's not going to help the seals, is it? Okay, righto. So there we are, yeah, a successful removal of the front suspension. And when I finish my repairs in this area, that can all go back in. Thanks for joining me in the garage then, just a bit of relatively quiet tinkering. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then, bye.